Ever thought of moving abroad or coming to live abroad permanently? You need to know these candid truths about life abroad.
When some people here say you there abroad, them go conclude say you.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Akuya, a nurse by profession in the UK. On this channel, I aim to inspire, to motivate, a bit of health and a bit of lifestyle. If you're new here, thank you for clicking on this video, and I hope you subscribe and become part of this family because I would love to have you on board. If you've already subscribed, thank you for coming back once again. So today we are going to talk about life in the UK or life abroad in general. I have lived in the UK for almost 10 years now. I think next month I'll be 10 years. So I do have an experience about life abroad, and today I want to share with you, if you're ever thinking of moving abroad or living in the UK or any of the Western countries, things you should consider before you make that big decision. First thing, if you're deciding to move abroad, I would like you to sit down and really consider the reasons why you want to move abroad. What are the advantages as against the disadvantages of moving here or staying back home? Because when you come here, things are a lot different from our experiences back home. So wherever you're coming from, whatever African country, I come from Ghana, so I will be relating this video to Ghana. If you're thinking of moving from Ghana or moving from any of these African countries to come abroad, then think about your decision really well, because the way things are seen over there, the perspective of life abroad is not exactly how it is when you actually move here. Things are much different. So before you move, once again, I'll tell you to think wisely about your decisions. The job that you might be doing back home when you come abroad or you move abroad, you might not be able to get the same job over here. And the jobs that are normally very respected back home, normally when you come here, it is not like that. Okay, so we might have your masters, you have your degree, masters, or whatever qualification you have back home. That might give you certain type of job, prestigious jobs. When you come here, that masters or your qualification will not really matter here. They do not really care so much about the qualifications that you are bringing back home. Most of the time when you come here, if you really want to climb the ladder and be doing the kind of job that you were doing back home, then you should go back to school, because they really want their own certificates, not the things or the ones that you bring back home. Except there are some exceptions like health workers, probably doctors and stuff. But even when you come here, you don't just come here and then immediately start practicing. There are courses, sometimes there are things you have to do which will take years. Okay, you might need to undertake some assessments and other stuff. So just things that you need to do to get to where you were when you were back home. It is not automatic that when you come, as soon as you come here, you'll be able to get them. So when you come in here with your qualification, just put it at the back of your mind that you might not be able to work with that qualification, and that the job that probably you were doing with that qualification back home will be a different job that you are doing here, except that in the beginning you will be doing some menial jobs. When I came here with the beginning, I came from working with MTN, which was a customer care job. And I know back home, yeah, being in a customer care lady or whatever, working with MTN, it's kind of one of the prestigious jobs. So when you come here, you customer care jobs is quite different from what we perceive it to be from back home. When I came here, to tell you the truth, I did some menial jobs because it was very difficult for me to get the kind of jobs that I wanted, or the kind of jobs that I really desired or wanted to work in. So I did some cleaning, yes, for a few months when I was pregnant with my first child, and I couldn't work, and I was struggling because I had to rely solely on my husband. I wasn't really doing any job. He was the one taking care of everything. I was miserable in the beginning. I just wanted to work. So when I couldn't get any job, and I had opportunity to be a cleaning job in one of the supermarkets here, which is Tesco, I took it and I did it for a few months. And then when my belly was becoming bigger, it was becoming too difficult for me, I stopped. Okay, so when you come here, you need to put some pride aside. Okay, in the beginning, things might not really be going the way you want it to go. You have to be willing to accept to do some jobs, because if you don't, then you cannot survive here. And then the notion that when you come abroad, there are jobs everywhere and that it is very easy for you to get a job. It is not like that. You need to have the right documents. You need to have the right qualifications for certain type of job. If you do not have a working permit, you're coming here on a visit, you are not able to work. If you come here as a student, you have limited hours that you can do. So yes, when you're here, you are a student, you can still work alongside you going to school. But then it is about 20 hours only that you can do in a week, which is not a lot of money. And most of the time, they are not major jobs. They are part-time jobs or menial jobs. That gives you the minimum wage in the abroad or wherever you are. So if you are a student and you are coming to rent, you have to take care of your bills, everything, because here the bills are non-stop, okay? Rents are very high. It's very expensive to rent, even a single room. So if you're coming here as a student and thinking that, oh, when I come here and I'm schooling, I can work alongside and probably send money back home, things are not like that. By the time you pay your rent and food and every other bill that you need to take out, everything is gone. Students are not allowed to work maximum hours. You have a minimum hours that they can work. As I said, I think 22 hours, and that is it. So when you come here, you cannot just work. Even when you come with a working permit, things don't just work like that. It will take time. As I said, you need to put some pride aside and accept whatever job you get, menial jobs. Just it's a stepping stone for you. But if you have pride and you're not willing or accepting to do those jobs, then you will not be able to survive here, especially in the first year or two when you move here. The other thing is accommodation. I think I've mentioned it earlier. The accommodation is very expensive abroad, especially in the UK. Okay, renting a room, a single room, because people do rent rooms here. People have got probably 3 bedrooms. It's only them living there, so they rent out 1 room, and that is not cheap as well, especially if you're going to live in London, which is where when most people come abroad in the UK, they move to. So when people move abroad, normally they stay in the capital cities, which in the UK is London. So accommodation is not that cheap. Okay, people live in tiny rooms here in the UK, especially. As I said, I live in the UK, so I will relate it to life in the UK. One thing that I want to tell people is, when people come back home, the way they portray, the life they portray is not always how they live here. Okay, I know somebody that does not wear the eyelashes and do nails and stuff, but when they were traveling back home, they fixed all that. So when that person is actually doing it because they're coming home. But then I think sometimes it portrays a different image about life abroad or life in the UK. Okay, so when we come back home and then we kind of shop for coming back home. People buy new clothes, shoes, bags, whatever, just to come and wear them when they come back home. And when you are out there and they come and they are displaying all those clothes and shoes and this luxury on them, or sometimes not luxury from Primark, and we have these shops here that clothes are not very expensive, and they display them, wearing them every day, changing them every day. You think it's luxury living abroad. You think life is rosy living abroad. I think I would advise all of us, when we go back home, let us tell people the real life abroad, that things are not what they say or they look like. Okay, let us be real when we go back home, so that people do not have the idea that when you live abroad you are rich, when you live abroad everything is going on so well for you. I'm not saying life is very difficult for so many people here. People, they are Ghanaians here or the Africans here who are really doing very well. They are really living well. But majority or chunk of the people from Africa or Ghana, when they move here, life is not always what they portray when they come back home, or life is not always the way they portray on social media, or when you see them posting pictures. I have said it before, that when you see me made up like that, probably I'm going to church today because I'm shooting a video, but normally when you see me, I don't look like that. Okay, or when you see me posting a picture, as I said, I might be going somewhere, that's why I'm dressed like that. It is the same with most people when they are here. So when they post something on social media, don't just relate to that and think that life abroad is rosy. Life is not rosy, and I think it's about time that we say the truth, so the people back home will know exactly that life is not the way they seem to be or they perceive to be over here. Next thing I want to say is credit. Abroad, people rely on credit. If you see somebody holding an iPhone, it's probably credit. We call it contract. So the mobile companies or telecommunication companies, they give you the phone and then you pay monthly. So every month you might be paying £30, £50, depending on the price, okay, or the cost of that phone that you are holding. People, even TV, people buy on credit and they pay bit by bit. We have houses, people buy houses on mortgage. When you hear mortgage, it means you've taken it, the bank will give you a loan to buy the building and then you pay every month. So you can spend your entire life, okay, paying for a house that you bought because you borrowed the money from the bank. It's quite different from back home that people build from scratch. Back home, when somebody has got a house, it is theirs. They have built it or they've paid for it in full. When you see somebody holding a phone, I don't think we have credit for buying phones back home. So when you see somebody holding a phone, iPhone, Samsung or whatever phone, they actually pay in cash. So here people are living in debt, okay? People are owing so many people money or companies money. Back home, it's not like that. When somebody, as I said, owns something, they actually own it, okay? They are not indebted to anybody or paying monthly to anybody. It is their own, okay? But here, no, the bank can even come and take that thing from you, especially houses, if you are not able to pay it as the months or the years go by. So they can repossess it, okay? Or sometimes if it's a phone or something, they might take you to court if you default payment. So here, bills are high, light bill, water bill, we are drowning in bills. So if you are not working or if you are not doing a lot of you are not earning enough from the job that you're doing, then you'll be living from hand to mouth. You are not able to do anything else apart from paying bills. At the end of the month, after paying all the bills, childcare, if you've got children, childcare cost is sky high. Back home, I don't think we deal with so much childcare unless maybe you take your children to nursery and then you have to pay school fees. But if it is somebody looking after your child, most of the time your family, your mom, your whatever, they have aunties, they are then able to help you. Or even if you want a house help, it's quite easy and very accessible. But here, childcare is, I'm telling you, somebody's full salary, okay? And a childcare alone can take half of your salary. So you pay a lot of bills that at the end of the month you really don't have nothing to show for it. So if you're not somebody that loves savings, that loves frugal living, then life here will be very, very difficult for you. So cannot talk about life abroad without talking about the weather. The weather is not nice, okay? The weather here is not nice at all. Forget about what you see on TV or social media or in the news, that when it snows it looks all white and so pretty. It is not nice at all. It is very, very cold when it snows. Very, very cold. And during those times, because we need to use heating in the house to warm the place, because you cannot live. Imagine they putting you inside, somebody puts you inside a fridge or a freezer, and then you have to stay in there. Can you imagine? That's how it is. Very cold. So if you are turning on your heating at the end of the month, be willing to pay a bill as high as that, okay? But if you don't want to pay bill and you want to turn your heater off and then put on some different layers of coat, then yes, it's very cold. So back home, we take our weather for granted. You should come and see the people abroad, the whites, during summer, okay? Some even go on holidays just to have an experience, just to go and lie in the sun and enjoy the kind of weather that we have got back home, okay? So they envy the weather that we have. But when we see the snows and whatever, oh, in the UK it is always raining. It is always raining. The weather can change 3-4 times in a day. The next minute is raining, the next minute is not, the next minute the sun is. Don't be deceived when you see the sun outside. It might look all sunny outside, but step outside and you see the breeze that will hit your face. So if you are somebody that do not like cold, look at how we suffer during Hamatan back home. When it is Hamatan around December, in the morning we don't want to get up. We don't even want to bath because it is so chilly. Imagine times 10 of that. So if you don't like cold weather, if you can't live in the cold, don't move abroad, because the weather here is not that nice. It's not that as beautiful as you see in pictures. it is very cold. The next thing is when you move here permanently, let me tell you the difference about living abroad and then coming for holidays. When you're coming for holidays, it is quite different. The one that is receiving you or wherever you're staying, they will receive you nicely because they know probably a week or 2 weeks or a month you're going away. But if you come to stay, things are much different because as you stay with them, their bills are going to go high. So very soon they will ask you to pay bills, especially if you're going to stay with them for a while. They will ask you to pay bills. And yes, you will stay with them for a while because it will take you some time to settle to be able to rent your own place. So when you come for holidays, probably you come with your leave, you've taken some annual leave and you come abroad, things might look very different because when you come, sometimes you bring your own money to come and shop. But when you come to live here, to come to live abroad, that is when you start seeing the real abroad. So don't just relate your coming here for holidays that's thinking that when you come and live, things are like that, so it's going to be the same. No, they are not. Living here permanently is different from coming for holidays. I know if you go to live in a place where you haven't got family or friends already, especially people you know or you knew from back home, then you'll be very lonely because you might live here, you will not know your neighbor. Okay, you might live here and the people around you will not know them. It's not like back home that you can easily go to your next door neighbor and go ask them for onions, for salt and for sugar, just borrow. We don't do that here. It might surprise you that you might see your neighbor just about probably a few times in a year. When they see you outside, yeah, hello, hi, but then some of them might not even say hello or hi to you. That is how it is, especially here in the UK. So you might live in a neighborhood, okay, and might not have the opportunity or even having a word with your neighbor. So you might be lonely because of that. It will be just you in your room, just there all by yourself. And when the weather is not nice, going out there, you might not even be encouraging for you to go, because when you go, that weather will let you rush back in. So you're only going out to work and then you come back home, work back home, work back home, and that might be your life. The only way you can interact with on phone, social media with your friends back home, but people around you here, no. Are you reconsidering your decision about moving abroad, or you still want to move here? As I said, have a sit down, think through that decision before you move here, because it is not always what it seems or what you see that is actually how life is abroad. We have so many opportunities back home that you can take advantage of and then still be very successful back home. Some of us have lived here already. This has become our home and our life. So this is all that we know at the moment. Coming back home might make us really have to start afresh, but it is still never too late. So if you're already back home, especially if you have a very good job that you're doing, I would advise that you reconsider your decision and then not leave whatever you're doing at the moment and think that when you come here, things might be much better than what you are now, where you are now back home. I know abroad is a big opportunity for some people as well. So many people, this is where they really make a living. Back home, things might not really be going on well so much for them. So when they come here, it's a real opportunity for them. But if you already have a life back home, if you already have a job, things going on well for you, I advise you do not leave what you're doing, okay? Concentrate on that and then work on it and improve on it, and your life might be much better back home than moving abroad. Thank you for watching once again. Please hit the subscribe button if you've not already subscribed. Share this video, comment, because I love reading all your comments, and like. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.
The company driver go pick you for